We're here because we need to speak on behalf of the most vulnerable people in our community. And we're here because we care about the staff who provide the care at both Monash and Elizabeth Gardens. We're here because human beings who call Elizabeth Gardens and Monash Gardens home are worth far more than the price of a parcel of land. And we're here because the council made the decision to seek to sell these facilities behind closed doors. I'd like to bring to your attention a document we found prepared by the Organisational Development and Planning Department of the Monash City Council as late as February 2013. It was the response from 169 surveyed residents about ways in which the council might better involve the community members to better understand their ideas and use their contributions. There are 13 items listed on this thing, and Monash Council chose not to use one of them in response to this issue. Shame, Monash Council.
Shame!
They include surveys are good. No survey made. Public forums, focus groups, workshops, resident meetings. Did they use any of those? No. Using the internet? No. Using direct emailing? No. Talk to the people face to face out in the community locations? No. Did they post mail or letters out before their secret meeting? No. Did they use newsletters or the council's bulletin? No, they chose to have all their meetings in camera and closed behind doors. Through the local newspapers. The only way the local newspapers has raised this issue is us. We have forced it on them. Did the council genuinely listen and earnestly respond to reported concerns? We'll see. They are not doing as they promised. They are not signing up to good governance. We're here. We've come out in the dark and the cold to talk to councillors. Can't see any of them yet. Promised to be here. Sounds familiar, huh? We're here to urge the councillors to keep these facilities. I could, and I hope you have, seen the local paper in today's issue. It arrived at our house before we left, and the open letter to council is wonderful. If you haven't, read it. But it finishes. Councillors, we strongly urge you to listen to and work with the community to keep these residential aged care services worth far more than the land on which they stand, both now and in the future. Hear us, Monash Council. Can I ask Linda to come forward? There are a number of people who will address you for 2 or 3 minutes at a stand just to give their viewpoint. And Linda is a... she is here. Linda will introduce herself.
My mother is a resident at High Level Care at Elizabeth Gardens, has been there 3 years and 3 months. My sister and I, the story goes, she lived with my sister and her family for 5 years. Unfortunately, she had a fall, ended up in hospital, was there for 7 weeks, and we had the family meeting to inform us we had to find a facility that had high level care, and they also suggested we find one that had low level care because her function may improve to go to low level care. This and now with this, she's been there 3 years, 3 months. She did get to the stage where she could have go to low level care, but she was so comfortable and familiar with the staff in high level care that we knew her behaviour would become resistive, and she would get very upset by having another change to her environment. So as my sister and I, we both work full time, we have families, we were very happy to find a place that could cater for our mother's needs. 3 years, 3 months ago, she was a walker. She used to escape. And where she wanted to go was sit in the sun in the garden. Elizabeth Gardens has 3 different gardens that she can go and sit at. She would only have her lunch in the sun. And the staff knew what would calm her down and keep her in her happy mood. She's a very happy comedian when she's in a good mood. If she's being very, very resistive, she is very difficult to deal with. She will hit out, she will be very aggressive in her language, and this is not our mum. But you have to look at the situation these people are put into, and the staff is so professional that they knew what would set her off, and in 3 years, 3 months, we have a very happy mum until 3 weeks ago when she was one of the residents that the letter was left on the bed. And she can't, she no longer walks. Unfortunately, her left hand is contracted, and the unfortunate thing is she understands everything that goes, but with her dementia she has lost the ability to be able to speak or say more than one sentence. And but unfortunately she understands what's going on. So she was very, very distressed when she overheard this other residents' families, and I hadn't found out because I always come from work and I go straight to have the evening meal with her, and I found the letter on her bed. So she was already upset, and I didn't know what had upset her, and then I could see the faces of the other residents' families, and the carers came. So just please do not do this to our parents. It's very emotional.
Thanks, Linda. Linda's story is typical of so many of those family stories around the group here. We do have support groups. Both Elizabeth Gardens and Monash groups both have now support groups who are actively working on your behalf. I'd like to hand the microphone to Georgia to explain, if you're not on those lists, how you can do it and how else you can service the needs of these groups.
Well, I wasn't expecting to be given the microphone so quickly. Thank you all so much. It's wonderful to see so many familiar faces. Good on you, everyone, for coming out on a really cold night to stand up for your rights, to stand up for all of our rights as citizens of this local government area and as people that have a right to have a say in decision making without leaving it up to the faceless people and the councillors, the CEO and the executive who are making decisions that affect our lives, our families and our local communities without any input or consultation with us. So thanks again. We really need to make sure our membership list is growing by the day. We need to make sure that it continues to. So please put up your hands who's collecting signatures and emails. Where are they? Please make sure, if you're not on our list, please make sure you see them. Add your name. We'll keep you updated. We'll keep you informed. We're going to have this fight and we're going to win. What are we going to do? We're going to win. Yes, win. Okay.
So there's 3 things we want. We want quality care. We want it. Where do we want it? We want it at the gardens. When do we want it? We want it forever. We want it now. So what do we want? Quality care. Where do we want it? The gardens. When do we want it? Now. What do we want?
Quality care.
Where do we want it?
At the gardens.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Quality care.
I can't hear you.
Quality care.
Where do we want it? When do we want it? Now. Did they hear us? No. I think we need it again. What do we want?
Quality care.
Where do we want it?
In the gardens.
When do we want it?
Now.
When do we want it?
Now.
When do we want it?
Now.
We're going to get it.
Yes.
We want it now and we want it forever. Ron Turner, if you're in the group, Ron's
He's here.
a resident of Monash Gardens and has a letter.
Yay, come on,
It's
Ron.
coming through.
Yay.
Yeah, Ron.
You're right.
Sorry. Get a close up there.